Hi, we're back again with another stimulus check update for you. And tonight we're going to be talking about the next stimulus bill phase 4 talks underway, beginning to intensify, more progress made on a second stimulus check update. This is your stimulus package update for today, August 1st of 2020. And basically what we have to start you off with is a meeting that took place this morning to make negotiations on the next stimulus package. And the negotiations were done by 4 members. One, Chuck Schumer, the Senate Minority Leader of the Democrats, and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the House of Representatives Majority Leader for the Democrats, and also Steve Mnuchin, Secretary Treasury of State, and Mark Meadows, the White House Chief of Staff. And Mnuchin and Meadows, they represent the Republicans in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, and the President in the White House administration. The first I'm going to give you is a little comments here from Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer on how their experience went this morning with negotiations too also as well. So I wanted to share this interview with you guys real quick here, so that way you guys can see it, and hopefully we can get a better idea of what went on this morning in those negotiations. Let's watch.
The livelihood and the life of our democracy are at risk and affected by this coronavirus. So we cannot take as we address the economic concerns of our families, there is a solution. And God willing, we will have a vaccine one of these days soon, a matter of months, but people can be infected and die in the meantime, and the impact on our economy. We saw yesterday the numbers that talked about the impact on the GDP. And what we are doing is not only trying to arrest the virus, but to invest in the economy as we help America's working families. So today was productive in terms of moving us forward. As the leader said, our staffs will be working to theirs and ours to have some clarity in some of the issues, and we'll meet again on Monday. But it is, again, we have to get rid of this virus so that we can open our economy, safely open our schools, and to do so in a way that does not give a cut in benefits to America's workers. Here we have this challenge, and what they were saying before is, we're going to cut your benefit. That's one of the, shall we say, discussions we're having.
I said to them, if 1 million people are without food, you don't say, let's compromise and give 500,000 people food. If there are 1 million people, 1 million small businesses hurting, you don't compromise and say, we're only going to help half of them. But on the other hand, we had really, it was the best discussions we've had so far. And I'd call it progress, but a ways to go.
That's right.
Okay, is that fair?
That's good.
Okay.
But the fact is that this week, for the 19th straight week, over 1 million Americans filed claims for unemployment insurance. Millions of people are food insecure in our country. Millions are on the verge of eviction. People need resources in order to meet the needs of their families. So it's very important for, as we come to, this is not a usual discussion because the urgency is so great, health-wise, financial health-wise, and again, the health of our democracy, because our elections will be affected by the coronavirus, and we must address that.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
So there you have it. There's Nancy Pelosi, which I kind of liked her comments, where she said this morning's meeting was very productive, and I like that. That's a kind of a difference than the other time last night when they had negotiations, which they didn't call it very productive. And I also noted that she did mention that millions of Americans are facing eviction, and every week, on average, over 1 million Americans are filing unemployment. Actually, last week, over 1.4 million Americans filed for unemployment, which was a record high for this pandemic. To also as one, I liked Chuck Schumer's comment where he mentioned that what the Republicans are trying to do, is simply not right by cutting people's benefits, according to what Pelosi was saying, cutting workers' benefits. They're trying to pass a new stimulus package without cutting workers' benefits at all. And also, what Schumer said is that if 1 million Americans are hungry, we can't just feed the 500,000 and leave the other 500,000. We have to feed the whole 1 million people, So I thought that was a very good interview, even though they did not mention any real specifics of the meeting this morning. And the meeting, as far as I know, was not televised on any news network. But I do have for you guys another interview here with Mnuchin, Secretary Steve Mnuchin, the Treasury Secretary, and also Mark Meadows, the White House Chief of Staff, who is basically, telling their experience of how the meeting went, because it was, them two and Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. So basically, we're going to cover that there and find out exactly what they had to say. Also, I'm making sure I have the audio on for you guys. So that way we don't, so that way we get a chance to hear everything that was said here. So let's listen into this one here.
So we spent, I guess, about 3.5 hours with the Speaker and Senator Schumer.
Well, this was the longest meeting we had, and it was more productive than the other meetings.
I think we would also characterize the discussions as the most productive we've had to date. We went through a long list of policy issues on our side, on their side. As we've suggested in the past, there's clearly a subset of issues where we both agree on very much.
There are many issues that are still very much outstanding where we're apart.
I would characterize this as there's still a lot of work to do. We've agreed that tomorrow the staff will meet.
And we will meet again on Monday.
It is a priority for the president to make sure that we deal with the issue that unemployment has run out and the rental eviction.
Now, each side knows where they're at, and we are going to work very hard to come to an agreement that meets the needs of the moment.
Central to all of this is to defeat the coronavirus. And very central to our HEROES Act is a strategic plan to do that. If we have testing, tracing, treatment, distancing, mask wearing, sanitation, and the rest, we can lower this. This is a freight train. It's exponentially, the numbers are increasing of people who are affected and people who are dying. It has an impact on the economy, and the lives, the livelihood, and the life of our democracy are at risk and affected.
Is that they repeated this word again, productive. And I did hear Nancy Pelosi mentioned that it was very productive, as well as Secretary Steve Mnuchin had mentioned that it was very productive. Now, the interview went on a lot longer than that, but I didn't want to bore you guys with the long 12-minute plus interview. So that's some of the good news there. But some of the negotiators, as they reported their progress, It seems here that one article was reported in the Chicago Tribune that Trump and the Republicans are softening their position to the $600 unemployment bump. Now, the lawmakers participating in rare weekend talks on a huge relief measure reported progress this morning, as we saw the video clips, as political pressure mounts to restore a newly expired $600 a week supplemental unemployment benefit and sending funding to help schools reopen. Now, we know this unemployment $600 a week benefit expired as of last night. Senator Minority Chuck Schumer said this was the longest meeting we had, and it was more productive than the other meetings. We're not close yet, but it was a productive discussion. Now each side knows where they're at. So Schumer spoke next to Nancy Pelosi for a lot longer than I showed you guys in the clip, after they met for 3.5 hours with Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows. Now, according to Mark Meadows, he says that we are still far away from coming to an agreement on a deal. Okay, so that's his opinion also as well. Now, the Democratic duo, Pelosi and Schumer, is eager for an expansive agreement, as are President Donald Trump and top Republicans like Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell of Kentucky. But perhaps one half of Senate Republicans, mostly conservatives, and those not facing difficult races this fall, are likely to oppose any deal. Now, prior talks yielded little progress. When they had meetings before this, didn't have much progress, and they had many meetings before this one. The administration, though, is willing to extend the $600 jobless benefit, at least in the short term, but is balking at other Democratic demands like aid for state and local governments, food stamp increases, and assistance to renters, and as well as homeowners. Now, Pelosi mentioned food aid and funding for voting by mail after the negotiating session was over. She and Schumer appeared more upbeat than they have at earlier meetings. And if you guys notice the video clips that I played for you, that it seemed like Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer was in a way far better mood than was Secretary Steve Mnuchin and White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, which I didn't show you the clip of Mark Meadows. But if you looked, you notice Steve Mnuchin's facial expressions and his mannerisms while he was speaking. He did not look like he was in a good mood at all during that conversation. Now, we have to get rid of this C-word sickness so that we can open our economy safely, open our schools, and to do so in a way that does not give a cut in benefits to American workers, is what Pelosi had said. She pressed her case for additional food aid and funding to facilitate voting by mail this fall as the pandemic rages on. Now, Mnuchin said restoring the $600 supplemental jobless benefit is critically important to Trump. Now, you got to understand this here. The Senate has gone home for the weekend, right? But even though they went home for the weekend, they're still having negotiations, even on a Saturday, okay? It's Saturday morning at that. Now, we're still a long ways apart, and I don't want to suggest that a deal is imminent, because it is not. This was what Mark Meadows had said after the meeting. There's still substantial differences, but we did make good progress. So now you have all four of the members of the negotiation this morning using the same word, progress. So it lets me to believe that they did make some type of progress. The additional jobless benefit officially lapsed last night. Democrats have made clear that they will not extend it without securing other relief priorities. Whatever unemployment aid negotiators agree on will be made retroactive. So basically, if they agree on extending the $600 weekly benefit and they don't pass a bill and get it signed by the president, say until August 7th, then the $600, the person who files for unemployment will get retroactive payments from the day it expired. And someone who was already on it when it expired will also receive the retroactive payment for that extra week, okay, after it had expired. Same applies to if they are able to pass a bill, say after that. I mean, hopefully this does not happen after the Senate comes back from their August recess and passes a bill somewhere in September. The same would apply. A person will receive retroactive benefit payments from when it expired last night, the 31st, every week, $600 up until September or that point, and that would put them right back on track there. Okay, on yesterday, Trump used Twitter to endorse extending the $600 payment and to criticize Schumer, however. But Democrats, right now, they hold a very strong negotiating hands. They have the Republicans backed into the corner. The Democrats have been standing their ground. The Republicans have been pretty much compromising on their side. They went down from $600 a week to $400 a week. There was even a proposal for $200 a week. We hear that there was also a proposal for a temporary unemployment extension of $600 for 1 week and another one for 4 months or until a final bill or stimulus package is passed. So none of these were agreed to by the Democrats. The media, according to the media, they say that there were 4 proposals made to the Democrats, and the Democrats denied all of the proposals. They rejected every last one of them. So right now, the Democrats have the strongest hand here in these negotiations, and I believe that the Republicans will fold, okay? And it may be even possible that they may even fold to some sort of a package similar to the HEROES Act, or maybe even the HEROES Act, okay? So I'm going to go over something that Jeff Stein had said. Now, Jeff Stein, he released a tweet, and basically he is a reporter for the Washington Post. And Jeff Stein reporting on the negotiations this morning between Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, Mnuchin, and Mark Meadows. He said, sounds like some progress on negotiations today. Here's what Mnuchin told reporters is in the mix. Specifics unclear. A fix on unemployment insurance. That's one of the pillars of this morning's negotiations. What should be done about unemployment, the extra $600 benefit, how to fix it, and also eviction moratoriums, because a lot of them have expired in many states and are expiring, were expiring at the end of July. Also, some of the states have extended eviction moratoriums, like Philadelphia has extended the eviction moratorium. Also, I believe California has extended eviction moratorium. Also, because of the California extension of eviction moratoriums, which they basically protect tenants from being evicted during this pandemic, a legal organization who is a landlord organization has lawyers that have actually sued because of this eviction moratorium, stating that the regulations are too hard. Now, they also discussed PPP in the negotiations this morning, more funding for the PPP, a second loan for small businesses. They're talking about businesses that has less than 300 employees, money for schools and childcare also as well, and money for cities. McConnell demand on that's McConnell cites demand on liability. So we know that the president kind of folded on the liability for businesses. to protect them from being sued by customers or employees contracting the C-word sickness in the workplace. Now, they also, the unemployment money and eviction moratorium, they both already expired. Now, this was a tweet on Twitter from Jeff Steen, reporter for the Washington Post. Now, there are four plans right now in Congress for a second stimulus check. I'm going to briefly go over all four. Now, you have the one in the Health, Economic Assistance, Liability, and Protection in Schools Act, better known as the HEALS Act, that was passed on Monday, introduced to the Senate on Monday, I should say. It's a $1 trillion stimulus package proposal. And who is eligible for a second stimulus check under the HEALS Act? You have $1,200 for each individual's married joint filers, $2,400 for married or joint filers. Dependents, $500 for dependents with no age cap, which is different than the first stimulus check that came in the CARES Act. That helps high school students, college students, and other adult dependents. And income requirements are if you earned less than $75,000 for individuals, $150,000 for married or joint filers, you would receive a $1,200 stimulus check. Kind of also similar to the CARES Act too also as well. So your stimulus check would be reduced for $5 by $5 for every $100 of income above the income limits until the $99,000 of income, adjusted gross income for individuals, $198,000 for married or joint filers. Okay, family of four could receive up to $3,400 under this proposal. Likelihood of happening, more likely according to Forbes. Now you have the second stimulus checks where the HEROES Act. The HEROES Act offers a $1,200 check also as well for individuals, but $1,200 for each independent, which is $700 more per dependent, according to the HEROES Act. Pretty much everything else is the same as the requirements for the HEALS Act. And then you have the $1,000 check for each adult. Better known, well, the name of the bill proposal is called the C Virus Assistance for American Families Act, or the CAF Act. Under this alternative Republican proposal, it's been proposed by Mitt Romney, Marco Rubio, Bill Cassidy, Steve Daines. Those four senators are all Republican. $1,000 check for each individuals, $2,000 for married or joint filers, $1,000 for each adult and child. So, a family of four can expect to receive $4,000 under this proposal, which would be more than under the CARES Act, which they would only receive $3,600. Now, the other proposal right now in Congress, in the Senate, is still the Monthly Economic Crisis Support Act, which has been introduced to the Senate by Senators Kamala Harris, Bernie Sanders from Vermont, Ed Markey from Massachusetts, which would give Americans $2,000 a month second stimulus check for each individual, including $2,000 for each adult and child, regardless of their age. It also helps high school students, college students, and other adult dependents, $4,000 for married or joint filers. If you earned less than $120,000 in adjusted gross income, you'd receive a second stimulus check. So the income limits are almost $30,000 higher than the CARES Act and the HEALS Act and the HEROES Act also. Now, the stimulus payments begin to phase out over $100,000 of adjusted gross income. Okay, so I'm basically going to show you guys a brief clip of the article here where I got the information about the Senate vote for you guys here on the screen, where the Senate actually voted on Thursday to begin a debate on a new stimulus package bill that was passed in the House. right? The results of the vote was 47 to 42. So they will begin a debate as of next week. But now we have here Mitch McConnell, the Senate Majority Leader of the Senate, had mentioned that there are 15 to 20. This is his quote. I think there are 15 to 20 of my guys that are not going to vote for anything. It's a statement of the obvious that we will not have everybody on our side. So basically, there's a lot of Republicans that disagree with giving us a second stimulus check. And Mitch McConnell says their arguments are not irrational. They don't think we ought to pass another one of these bills, but I don't agree with that. Okay, so there's a statement from Senator Mitch McConnell. Another statement from Senator Bernie Sanders on Twitter. He said the Senate Republican plan gives $29 billion for the Pentagon, $0 for hazard pay, $0 for nutrition assistance, $0 for the uninsured or underinsured, $0 for the post office, $0 for state and local governments, 100% reduction for 3 Martini CEO lunches. What a disaster. The GOP bill includes $2 billion for F-35s, $1.7 billion for an FBI building, $1 billion for surveillance planes, $375 million for armored vehicles, $360 million for missile defense, $383 million for Apache helicopters, $0 million for people facing evictions. Bernie Sanders said the HEALS Act is also dead on arrival in the Senate, just like the HEROES Act was. Now, I did find an article here that also gave an idea on the seriousness of the situation involving the evictions. And it says here that 43 million Americans are at risk of evictions as relief programs and moratoriums expire. It's a nightmare. And this was reported by CBSnews.com. Now, in other stimulus check news I have for you today, also, we have presumptive Democratic nominee Joe Biden. Today, he urged Congress to pass an emergency housing package after boosted federal unemployment benefits and the eviction moratoriums expired. According to Biden, said in a statement that he provided to Politico, because Donald Trump is abdicating his responsibility to lead us out of the pandemic crisis and the economic crisis, we now face a potential housing crisis across the country. To prevent a catastrophic rise in evictions and homelessness, President Trump must work with Congress to act swiftly and enact a broad emergency housing support program for renters, just as we would in the aftermath of a natural disaster. So there we have it, and that's coming from multiple senators. I mean, you have numerous Republican senators. Now, Mitch McConnell, as he said, 15 to 20 senators are not going to vote on another stimulus package right now, which means that because the Republicans hold the majority in the Senate by 53 senators total, they would need at least 27 of the Democrats, including independents, to vote on their side in order to pass another stimulus bill. Now, speaking of independents, one independent in particular, Senator Bernie Sanders, senator from Vermont, who also ran for president, he declared the HEALS Act dead on arrival in the Senate. So that tells me that he may not get Senator Bernie Sanders' vote to go along with this, but it's possible he may get some of the Democrats to vote. Will he be able to get 27 senators, Democrats, to vote on his team to pass a bill through the Senate? That we have yet to see. So that's all I got for you guys here. Make sure that you like the video by giving a thumbs up. We need as much thumbs up as we can get, so that way YouTube can promote our video and more people can see this video also as well. And make sure that you join our Facebook group so you can get more stimulus check update information that we share with you. Thousands of members in the group. It's free to join. Just join the link in the description. Hit the down arrow here, and you can scroll down the description and join up. And while you're in there, see other links for free money and other helpful resources. And we will be doing these stimulus check update videos every single day, so you don't want to miss out. We'll be doing them in the evenings. I'm on Central Time, so I do them somewhere between 8 p.m. Central, and I try to do it no later than 10 p.m. Central Time. So from all of us here at the How to Get an 800 Credit Score Family, LLC, stay safe, be blessed, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. See you tomorrow. My name is Lyndon Baptiste, and on this channel we talk about ways to increase your credit score, build credit, and get approved for the lowest payments on mortgages and lines of credit, travel the world for free, earn extra money with cash back. And if that interests you, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications. That way you'll never miss a single video as we make them.